The Dark Ages. Sad, smelly, dark, obviously, and pretty goddamn weird and freaky. Very, very freaky stuff. And seriously, just really smelly. It smelled really bad, man. The past was a stinky place. And today, I'm gonna learn you some of the freaky, weird, dark, and smelly torture methods of the so-called Middle Ages. Starting with the Pear of Anguish. You've heard of apple-bottom jeans. Now get ready for boots with the fur. No, I'm kidding. Get ready for the Pear of Anguish. Starting off very, very strong with the most metal name for a fruit imaginable. Let's take a look at this metal fruit. Literally, it's a metal fruit. It looks like a pear and it's made of metal. The Pear of Anguish was a device thought to have originated sometime in the late medieval period somewhere in Europe. Probably Germany would be my guess. They are historically freaks over there, so anytime we don't know exactly where these freaky deaky torture tools come from, I'm gonna assume Germany, okay? I'm gonna blame the Krauts.
When your German roommate says that he wants to expand the living room.
So, the pear was a device that consisted of 3 to 4 metal leaves, if you will, sometimes with spiked edges which bulged in the middle to form what sort of looked like a metal pear. The device also had a handle which, when cranked, would expand these leaves out from the center. Now, some of you may already know where I'm going with this. I hope that you don't. I hope that Christ is still with you, my son, my non-German son. The Germans, all of them already know exactly where I'm going with this.
Jetzt sag ich Fortnite und trink Cola. Yippee!
The pear would be inserted into an orifice, any orifice, pick an orifice, and then expanded inside said orifice, painfully damaging said orifice. They put the pear in the hole, pear get big, ah geez, oh no.
This particular Pear of Anguish is to be inserted in either the or the. There are larger ones for the.
This device was typically used for crimes such as heresy, blasphemy, adultery, lying.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
Or, the worst crime imaginable in the Middle Ages, homosexuality.
Sorry, that was disgusting. I just love you guys a lot.
And it was inserted into whatever orifice was the most metaphorically relevant to any of said crimes just mentioned.
As it is opened, it expands the hard palate and mandible in equal proportions, crushing the maxilla and zygomatic, thrusting the bones into the brain, killing the victim. I wish the depravity and cruelty of human behavior surprised me.
So, again, just starting strong. My ass is just getting kind of sore just thinking about that. Aren't pears supposed to be good for the digestive tract? The old rectum? You know, they're packed with fiber, right? This is just not the intended use. And if you've just been exposed to the Pear of Anguish, you may not want to sit anywhere, but especially not the Iron Chair. Not to be confused with the Iron Giant, Iron Golem, or Iron Maiden. Although we will be talking about that last one soon. The Iron Chair originated in Europe around the 12th century and was primarily used as a sometimes literal hot seat for interrogations of traitors, heretics, and of course the Dark Age staple, witches. It's homosexuals and witches all the time. Pray to God that you were not a homosexual witch in the Middle Ages. That would, times were tough. Today, every, woman with a septum piercing is at least a bisexual witch, They would have it hard. They would have a hard time. Now they're flourishing. Just hit me up if you fit that description, please. I mean, seriously, I think that they might have had an acronym back then for witches. I think it's just white bitches. I mean, if Eminem is a wig. So listen, kids, if you're interested in building your own iron chair at home, which seems fun, like a fun family bonding experience that I think I legally have to say you shouldn't do and that I don't endorse, but does sound pretty fun. All you're gonna need is 2 simple ingredients: a chair and hundreds of razor-sharp spikes. It's real easy. It's really, as like most of these, especially the last one, kind of sounds like a staple at a Diddy party. You know what I'm saying? A Diddy party.
Now this is what the music industry is all about.
It's the baby oil, the spiky chair, and the anus rupturer, which coincidentally is what they called me in college. So yeah, it was a spiky chair for interrogations. They'd plop the fella into the chair, or the female, the white bitch, the witch. Spikes would be on the chair, ass on the spikes, strap them down, and then oftentimes light a fire under their ass, literally, to heat up the spikes and speed up the confession that they hate their god, country, or non-broomstick-based travel. Now, after you've had the Pear of Anguish inserted into your anus and then just plopped right down on the spiky chair, you might need a wheel chair at that point, like Joe Bader.
Pretend I'm your child, Lois. Not that.
But one wheel you do not want to see is the breaking wheel. Ah, yes, the wheel. A staple of moving things from one place to another place, motion style. Sometimes the motion even gets crazy, you know, it gets psychotic even. Now you got locomotion. But what if the thing that wheel is moving isn't food or wood or slaves or drugs or bugs or rugs? What if it's not moving at all, in fact, and you're just strapped to it with a big dude in a leather hood repeatedly smashing all of your limbs with a hammer? Well, that's what we're here to find out, isn't it? Oh, how I love to learn. Also known as the Catherine wheel, after its inventor and ironically first victim of the device, Catherine Zeta-Jones, the breaking wheel was originally used all the way back in Roman times. But I've already made a Rome video. It's been done. It's stale. No one's asking how often do you think about the Roman Empire anymore. Okay? How often do you think about the Dark Ages now? Okay, that's the new hotness.
Old and busted, new hotness.
At least I hope so. God, do I hope so. I need a video that does even somewhat well. My sponsors are running away like I'm made out of AIDS and lice. And I am... Look at my hair. Dude, this screams poverty. You know what I'm saying? Look at this. I live in a cabin in the woods. How did I get here? I don't know how I got here. You've seen my previous sets. What is this? What is going on? My life is in shambles. Please support me on Patreon or donate with QR codes on the sides of my head. I just like the video. Just share the video. I just need people to watch. Just to watch. I am crashing out. Can't even afford condoms. It's a nice problem to have. Anyway, the strap to the wheel with a man turning your bones to poo-poo dust with a hammer thing was only one way to do it, all right? They had options. And if they were short a hammer, they could also just do with the wheel itself, break your bones and turn them to dust by putting some wooden splints under all of your joints and repeatedly dropping the heavy-ass wheel onto your shins, forearms, hands, everything, every bone, all over your body. And if that, didn't just immediately kill you, you would hope that it just immediately killed you, let's just say that. So after your skeleton was thoroughly squishified, there were also a few options at the hangman's disposal at that point as well. But the most common was to braid your now superhumanly flexible body like a goddamn rope around the spokes of the wheel and then put it on a post and spin it around for everyone to see. Just spin around your loose, limp, overcooked spaghetti noodle of a body. And kind of like being crucified, you were probably not dying for a while either up there. Probably quicker than being crucified though. I mean, you are just literally a pretzel. Now, you're a human you are so This punishment was quite common for murderers, arsonists, traitors, and robbers, particularly street thieves and highwaymen, because they thought that it was funny, that it was on a wheel that you're dying on, and that these people robbed stuff with wheels on them. Seriously, look it up. So funny. How funny is that? And even though these beefy, burgling, big booty bad boys were more broken than Cyberpunk 2077 on release day, there are still tales of men staying alive for days after being braided through a wheel. Tales such as that of Bonadius, a man broken by the wheel in 1348 for the crime of being Jewish, who repeatedly stayed alive for 4 whole days. Reportedly. Not repeatedly. That would be crazy. I don't know how you'd go through this process more than once. Then there's the somewhat notorious case of the German serial killer Christman Wow, that is a terrible name. Whoa. First of all, first name, Christman. Crazy. Crazy name. And then the last name, somehow even crazier, and seems... I don't know if I can say this on YouTube. Jenippertanga. Christman Jenippertanga. Wow. German serial killer Christman Jenippertanga, who was reported to have killed not 20, not 30, but 964 people over a 13-year period. Which, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of folks. I mean, not necessarily when it comes to like views on a YouTube video or total lifetime customers for a highway adjacent McDonald's franchise location 10 years in the running, but for killing? That's a lot. I have heard that's quite a few people to murder. Dude, I bet the f***ing audio in here is just trash. It's a cabin. It's a cabin in the woods. I don't have Wi-Fi here. I don't know how I'm gonna even upload this video. If you're seeing this right now, it's a miracle. It's a Christian miracle. Inshallah, I will post. Anyway, 964 people murdered. You might even be saying that that's the most people. That's too many people. I don't think he killed that many people. And you might be right. That number is definitely contested. But most people agree that he at least killed like 500 people. Which is still kind of a lot of people. Fun fact about killing people. While looking that up, I found out that a man named Vasily Blokhin, whom, acting on the orders of communist Giga-Chad Joseph Stalin, is known for personally executing 7,000 Polish prisoners of war. So, you know, that's probably the most. Do you think that's the most anyone's ever killed? I mean, your killing hand has got to get tired after that. That's like carpal tunnel levels of killing.
I just love killing.
Anyway, in 1581, the serial killer, that German guy, once again, German. Go figure. What is in the water over there? Scheisse? Particulates of Scheisse? The German guy who killed 964 people, maybe. They wheeled him, all right? Reeled him up good, broke him all the way up, braided him through the spokes, and then intentionally kept him alive with food and, quote, strong drink, purposefully, and he allegedly made it a whole 9 days up on the spinny thing. So remember, kids, it could be worse. Okay, it can always get worse. Eat your vegetables or Santa's gonna wheel you, okay? And if you need something, like a utensil of sorts to eat said vegetables with, you can always use the Heretic's fork. Solid transition there. I feel like Caitlyn Jenner right now, because that was a solid transition right there.
Buckle up, buckaroo!
All right, so imagine that you've just committed heresy. Which, what is heresy, by the way? I know what blasphemy is. It's that thing Wendigoon is always talking about when he's like, oh my god, Hunter! Stop! Oh my god, Hunter! You're blaspheming! Hunter, stop!
The Bible! Yay!
Camera overheated because it's 300 goddamn degrees in here. I feel like I'm recording in a storage container right now on my way to the island. You know the one. You know the island I'm talking about. Okay, all right. So I looked it up. Heresy is defined as a belief or opinion that contradicts the accepted doctrines of a particular religion. And blasphemy is just like saying something disrespectful about God or sacred objects. So for instance, if I said, damn you, God, Christian God, you suck balls, and I bet you have constant diarrhea, no fiber in your diet, have an ass, crotchety old coot, that would be blasphemy. But if I said, on the other hand, me personally, I love science. Love science, and my studies scientifically show that God sucks, and there is a high likelihood that he has constant diarrhea due to a lack of fiber in his diet, and statistically speaking, he appears to be a crotchety old coot. That is heresy. It's a subtle yet important distinction. And if I were to say, damn, God, looking kind of thick in that robe, and nice looking beard, can I pull on that? Can I use that as a handle, God? That would be homosexuality, which they also didn't like very much. Especially if you were doing it that way. Would that be all three? I assume as long as you were degrading him during, that it would at least be blasphemy if you were calling God like a dirty little son. I think I'm getting heat stroke right now. So okay, you just did that hypothetically. Either or all of those things. Let's say you did all three of those things. You blasphemed and hereticized and homosexualicized all over God's face and chest. And some medieval lord heard you out of the corner of his ear, and he said, "Whoa! Wow, that was very graphic there, Buster. That's a no-no. We're gonna have to bring you down to the station."
I need to ask you to stop.
And then you get to the station. Turns out it's a dungeon, actually. And you were then acquainted with the big buff hooded dude. You know the dude. "Hi, my name's Brandon. I'll be your torturer this evening. Why don't you go ahead and sit right there?" Yep, just right there on the spiky chair. That's the one. All right, you ready to get started? No? That's what they all say, buddy. Okay, let's open up that rectum here, see what we're working with. So because you're a heretic / blasphemer / religious homosexualityizer, Brandon would then whip out the punishment customary for such an offense, confusingly named the Heretic's Fork. Basically, this device was a dog collar strapped to your neck. I know, kinky, but it doesn't stop there, as on the front of the dog collar was a piece of metal with 2 spiked forks on either end, with one spiky fork side digging slightly into your chest, and the other spiky fork side slightly digging into your throat and chin area. "You're digging in me," is what you would say in this situation. And that forced you to kind of lean your head back a little on the fork to avoid death. This fork was then left on for a while, usually a few days, really however long they felt like forking you, and this prevented eating, as if you open your mouth, dead, speaking as well, same general concept, open mouth, dead, forked, and sleeping, as soon as that head starts a-bobbing, dead. Forked up big time right there, buddy. My very thorough and rigorous studies also mentioned that the fork was sometimes used to induce confessions, which does sound a bit counterintuitive there. Oh, so you want talks, see? Okay, well, let's just get this forky thing on you here. All right. Well, how about now, huh? How about now? "He's not saying anything, boss." Give it a minute, Lenny. Jesus. Okay, still won't talk, eh? Well, how about if we sew those lips up? That should get the information flowing. And the necessary information guy's hair grew 3 sizes that day. There's literally 1 paragraph left of this segment. I don't know why I didn't finish it the last time that I recorded this, but it's 3 months later. I've had a time. You'll notice I look longer. Unfortunately, not in all areas. Been raft guiding for 3 months because I need money. And I guided rafts for 3 months. Tried to do YouTube at the same time. It just didn't work. Not enough time. Nor willpower. But I'm back.
Look, I made you some content. Daddy made you your favorite open wide.
The CIA did not get me. I'm addressing this in the middle of the video for the informed gang. My true patriots, my true followers. Anyway, let's pretend that 3 months did not just pass and go back to talking about the Heretic's Fork. And if that sounds bad, the fork device, no it doesn't. No it does not. Okay, we talked about a f***ing butthole exploder. Once again, my college nickname, like 5 minutes ago. Okay, this is nothing. Not a thing at all. And the next one, somehow even worse. Most likely, than that rectal reticulator. It is just straight up literally sawing a person in half from the crotch down. Yeah, this one, pretty self-explanatory. If you've seen the first Terrifier film, you're familiar with the concept, and you have issues. Those films are for people with issues. I was forced to watch them by my friend, with issues. Clear issues. I see you there, John. I see you have them, you know you do. And when we went to go see the third one in theaters, there was a guy there specifically to tell people that they might vomit when they go and see the film. And I was like, oh, haha, wow. Wow. What pussies lose their lunch at this? And I did almost throw up at the rat scene.
Oh, shit! A rat!
It was brutal. That was bad. This sawing in half method was used by the Ottomans and Persians, mostly, as well as in Eastern Europe, and typically only reserved for the most serious of crimes against the state, such as treason or on captured spies. The victim would be hung, upside down, saw placed right on the old genital area, and then just f***ing Just saw it in half, simple as that. And the fact that this participant was upside down actually prolonged the experience. Which, well, I guess that's kind of obvious, since if he wasn't upside down, you'd just be sawing directly into the head. But it also kept the victim alive longer than a person who had just lost a ton of blood normally would, as gravity was pooling the teeny-weeny dribble of remaining blood directly to the brain, ensuring as lengthy an enjoyment of being sawed in half from the dick down as humanly possible. And if you thought that one was bad, it is. It's going to be hard to top that. That's pretty brutal. This next one definitely does not, but it does share its name with a piece of poop that's really good at basketball. So I'm, of course, referring to the dunking stool. Bad pun, man. I don't normally go this long between writing the thing and recording the thing. I promise I won't keep doing this director's commentary for that long. This is just a strange experience for me. I missed you guys. What have you been up to for 3 months? Let me know in the comments what you've been doing for 3 months. Is it nothing? The dunking stool was basically just waterboarding. I'll get straight to the point with this one. They strap you to a chair and dunk your head in a river or pond over and over for fun and profit. This was typically used on witches and, quote, scolds, which referred to loud, gossipy, opinionated, immoral, quarrelsome, adulterous women. Which, again, same thing, guys. Witches. White bitches. Witches. It just adds up. This dunking stool treatment became commonplace around the 12th century and was particularly common in England and colonial America, which was still, for all intents and purposes, full of British people. Particularly British women. Just saying. I'm just saying, okay, just stating a fact. White bitches. White British bitches. Another fun medieval and colonial period witch hunt activity that involved water was throwing women into water. Now, witches, as we all know, are able to use the power of magic that was given to them by Satan after they did that pagan ritual with the crystals that they got on Temu or Wish. That's why it's called Wish, by the way. Look it up. It's a magic thing. That's magic with a K, I think. So it stands to reason that if you threw a witch into a body of water, she would use her witchy Alibaba crystal powers to float to the surface and not drown, right? That's just the self-interest and instinct, right? It makes perfect sense. So, a foolproof method they often use for determining if a woman was indeed a legitimate witch or a standard non-Satan magic-having white bitch was to throw her into a body of water and then see if she drowned. If she floated, she's a witch. Kill her. Burn her, even. However you want to do it. If she drowned, not a witch, turns out. Who would have thunk? But still, she was really annoying and British, and that's why we accused her of being a witch in the first place. Okay, for the British and colonial men of this era, it was the perfect win-win scenario. They had concocted for themselves a perfect catch-22 of biblical proportions.
I tell you, I hate my stupid fucking wife. I punched her.
But what would happen, you think, pray tell, if they threw that white bitch witch into water and then heated up the water? For a long time. Yep, you got it, that's right.
That's it, yeah.
She would become the recipient of our next titillating torture tale, which of course is being boiled alive. So I've mentioned my video about the ancient Roman Empire already at this point. If you haven't watched it, go do that for fear of being subjected to one of these methods, unless you're German, then you may enjoy some of them. So for my German audience, if you don't watch it, I won't do any of these to you. Ha-ha. Ha-ha-ha.
Game day, bucket go, boom.
If you have already watched it, though, you would know that wealthy or powerful Romans had to always be on the lookout for poison. Hell, getting poisoned back then was so common that they did it to themselves with lead. They'd start their day off with a hearty dose of lead added to their bottle of morning wine, because lead tastes sweet. You see, it was the OG artificial sweetener before people found out that it turns your brain into 1970s serial killer style mush. Big pile of Ted Bundy-esque mush. It's true, lead is sweet. It's pretty crazy. That's why boomers loved eating lead paint chips so much. And look at them. Just look how that turned out.
I don't know what I said. I don't remember. Bing, bing, bong, bong, bing, bing, bing.
History really does repeat itself. Anyway, things were not that much different for a wealthy and powerful king or nobleman of medieval times as they were for the ancient Romans. You always gotta watch out for poison, kids. What are you eating right now? Is it poisoned? Probably. How would you know? You're fucking 8. You're all sticky and dumb. You know, that's kind of a joke, but with all the red 40 and yellow 5 and seed oils and fluoride in your dino nuggies, you are legitimately probably kind of being poisoned if you're eating right now. It's an epidemic. RFK. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., buddy.
I'm not your buddy, friend. Stop
giving kids measles and vitamin A toxicity and trying to cure my autism with ivermectin and get the fucking seed oils out of my dino nuggies. You worthless, good-for-nothing voice of an animated ashtray-having, brain worm-harboring, leathery sack of supplements. Fix the food! It was the one thing I was kind of looking forward to for you to do, and you're not doing it at all. You're doing just the opposite of it. Also, back to the kid being poisoned. What are you doing watching this video? I'm talking about history and torture. You know, kids only like hearing about one of those things. Go back to watching Elsa get Spider-Man pregnant, or Mr. Beast getting Spider-Man pregnant, or whatever kids watch these days. I appreciate you being here for the ad revenue. In fact, stick around. I'm fine with that. No, don't. My video is not for children. Definitely don't leave it on multiple devices, streaming, and take a nap. Whoa. Anywho, if the food of a member of the medieval monarchy was poisoned, who's the most likely culprit there? That's exactly right, the Muslims. Crusade time, boys.
I am Aladdin, and you are my property now, Genie. For my first wish, Genie, I would like nothing more than to bury myself in Princess Yasmin's bobs and vagine like a desert jackal. Your rule said nothing of slavery, Genie. You must honor the terms of our contract, or I am free to take your hands.
Let's do a crusade.
Crusade!
No. Well, yes, but the chef who cooked the meal with the poison in it is who I was referring to there in that specific instance. And just like the wheel being the punishment of choice for highwaymen that robbed carts and carriages and generally with wheels on them, medieval mofos really liked ironic punishments for some reason. So the preferred execution method for a chef who poisoned the pasta primavera was to boil him alive, just like so much cabbage and roughage he had boiled before himself. This act was typically done slowly. They didn't just throw the guy straight into already boiling water, which must have been a real trip, honestly. Okay, so I just get in here. I just climb in. Okay, yeah. Oh, woo! Yeah, that's kind of cold right now. Actually, is this ice water? I feel like Joe Rogan in here, Joseph Rogan. Okay, getting kind of tepid now. Lukewarm bath level, I'd say. It's getting kind of pleasant. All right, no one told me this was going to be a hot tub. Where are the wenches at? Where the wenches? Am I right, boys? I need my wenches in grog. And they didn't always boil this Chef Bad Boy RD in water. No. They were also known to use hot boiling oil, tar, or even wine, which I would just start drinking immediately to just pass out and peacefully drown. That would be the strat there in the wine boiling meta. Oh, to be boiled alive in the Belle Delphine bathwater. Poisoner boiling actually became an official legal punishment in 1531, codified by decree of King Henry VIII, the fat one that you learn about in school, who killed all those wives and got gout. Very same guy. Big guy. Huge guy, the biggest guy, some might say. I walked in, I said, wow, what a big guy.
What a big king this is. I walked in here, I said, wow, what a big
king.
One Richard Roos, a cook accused of poisoning a soup that killed several people, was boiled alive that very same year in the middle of Smithfield Market in ye old London town. They were big into their public executions back then. I mean, there was nothing better to do. They didn't have Minecraft or TikTok. They didn't even have Live Leak. I mean, this was the analog version of Live Leak. What better place to find the future mother of your children, or mistress to the mother of your children, or secret gay lover than the town boiling? I mean, that shit is flaming. And speaking of flaming, let's talk about eye gouging. Wow, that did not relate at all. Did I fuck up the order of these, or was I just that drunk when I wrote this? Two things can be true. You've heard the term an eye for an eye. Well, in medieval times, it was often more an eye for theft, betrayal, or treason, as those were the crimes most likely to get your eyes gouged out as punishment. Although if you went around taking people's eyes...
Hey, Pooh, how are you? They took my fucking eyes.
They probably would take your eyes for that too. They probably would do the eye. They'd be like, whoa, perfect opportunity. How often does this happen? What a layup for the judicial system on this one. See, back in the day, there weren't like prisons.
No, I was gonna, but I couldn't get it up. You built too much like a girl. I couldn't get into it.
That wasn't a thing. Really, the only situation where you were being held in a cell and actually like fed and maintained as a person is if you were like a political prisoner being held for ransom. They weren't going to go around using taxpayer money to hold some schmuck who stole a loaf of bread in a jail, all right? That money was for the king's horses and Elon Musk's sex robots, okay? Not public services. Plus, if you were a no-good crime doer back then, it was like way easier to get away with any of the crime that you're doing. There's no cops. There's no social credit score. You're fine. This isn't Skyrim, where you're not crouched when you take all the silver directly in front of somebody with a basket on your head, and then a guard comes up and talks about the Jarl for a while.
You and me, we shouldn't be here for real on gods. It's these stormcucks the Simpire wants.
We're all gooners and stepsisters and binds now, Rizzler.
General Tullius, sir. The throat goat is waiting.
Based. Let's get this ratioed.
Shapiro, Peterson, Jones, Tate, Adolf. Chuds, please help me.
Sussy elves.
Those didn't exist. There weren't cops back then. That wasn't a thing. Blue lives, not only, they didn't exist. Dost thou think black lives? Charles, I have hoisted a black square in the town market to show that I care. What are you doing? So, on the rare occasion that they actually did somehow manage to catch a bad boy being bad, doing bad stuff, by him just doing it, I don't know, just directly in front of the king, I get the ballsiest thief imaginable. When they caught him, they needed to make an example of them in a brutal visual display as a deterrent, and not lock him up out of the public eye, taking up resources. That was all hooey. That was the exact opposite of what they were going for. So really, as a law enforcement official of some kind, your only options were public execution, or if you were really feeling generous, simple public mutilation. Steal some schmeckles, gouge an eye out, or cut an arm off, or some toes if you're feeling like Tarantino, or whip them in the town square. You know, there's so many options, quick and easy, time served. Plus, beyond just eye gouging bad, this guy probably won't like it when we gouge his eyes out, most likely. The thinking also was that it'll be, way harder for the guy to, re-offend when he's f***ing blind, I mean, even if you gouge out just the one eye, he still has no depth perception, You're trying to pickpocket, and now you're accidentally just committing sexual assault, all because you done been made a cyclops by the state. You missed your mark. Going for the pocket, you end up in the pecker, you know what I'm saying? Same thing with cutting out people's tongues. They did that a lot as well for heresy, or blasphemy, or being a woman priest, or being a woman in general, or just saying anything ever. They don't want you to say stuff. So you can't do that if you don't have a tongue. No more tongue. Tongue privileges revoked. And on the topic of eye gouging, there's this particularly metal medieval story from the year 1014 where Byzantine Emperor Basil II, Basil II, the sequel to the herb, came into possession of a large amount of captured Bulgarian soldiers, 15,000 of them, to be specific, and decided that just killing them was just not metal enough. All right, he had to be freakier than that. We have got to get freakier. So he organized all the men into 150 different groups of 100 men each, blinded 99 of each 100-man group, and left the last man with one of his eyes, so he could lead all the other blind bastards back home with, again, terrible depth perception. So now, Bulgaria, right, doesn't just have 15,000 dead soldiers to mourn, They have the worst fucking white elephant of all time in the form of 150 one-eyed freaks and 14,850 fully blind f***s to deal with and feed and support and shit. And they weren't about that. Bulgaria was on the Doge mindset. They were not... Public services, again, were not a thing. Also, probably not exactly that many. I bet like a lot of them died on the way home, getting lost, falling into lakes and shit. But it's comical to think about. But still, it was terrible. And genius, all right? Military genius, and it hurt them even worse than just killing all of their men. Kind of smart, kind of witty. And what could possibly be, you ask, more metal than that? The Iron Maiden. Ah, yes, probably the most famous torture device of the medieval age. And sorry to be a putz, don't want to burst your German little torture bubble here, but it probably wasn't even real. It wasn't even a real thing. The Iron Maiden was basically a coffin-shaped box, right? Box shaped like a coffin, with spikes on the back wall and spikes on the inside of the door. So when you put somebody in there and shut the door real hard, it was basically a human to Swiss cheese conversion machine. But again, probably not real. It apparently isn't actually mentioned in any contemporary medieval sources, and it's thought to just be something that some kook in the Victorian era cooked up to be like, wow. Look here, guys. It's a wow. What a crazy torture thing that I definitely didn't just make in my garage. What a wow. This is definitely from medieval times. You want to pay me to see it or something. Wow, what a find. But I believe. I want to believe. It's real. Why not? I believe it. Why not? They could all be fake. Everything you know could be fake. You could be hallucinating your entire life right now. I could not be real. I am not real. You are not real. Nightmare, nightmare, nightmare. But Iron Maiden, definitely real. Definitely metal. Ask your dad. I was going to parlay this little torture talk into more of a medieval times in general were freaky video that lasted longer than whatever the timestamp of this video is. But I haven't posted in 3 months, and that's all I had written was what you just heard. So you're welcome for the video. And thanks for watching. Of course, I'm just kidding. I appreciate you guys. You're really cool for watching this YouTube video. You could watch Mr. Beast get Elsa pregnant, and Spider-Man watches from the cuck chair, but instead you're watching this guy, and I appreciate it. Like I said, I've been gone a while. It turns out, guys, living only in your bedroom and making YouTube content and being on your computer all day for 3 years isn't super conducive to mental health. I know, who would have thought? So last winter, I started working up on a ski resort part-time, and it was sick, nasty, love it, can't wait for next winter. And I was still able to pump out some videos that way and still enjoy my life and go outside and not touch grass because the grass was all covered in snow, but you know, the thought was there. And then this summer, I tried to do the same thing with raft guiding, but it ended up being something I could only really do as a full-time gig. So I did it. It was good. I feel refreshed. I feel ready to sit back. I feel ready to go back into the cave for you guys and to produce more silly YouTube videos. What do you want to know? You know, what do you want me to make videos about? I feel like I never ask you guys what you want to hear. What do you want to know? You know, if you know something kind of interesting that you don't think other people know, that you want me to know more about and talk about, leave it in the comments. Give me ideas. My brain is all full of cobwebs and alcoholism. Shake them off, shake the cobwebs off by giving me some ideas in the comments, please. Wouldn't that be so cool if you were such a smart fellow and left a comment that I actually covered, and maybe I even mentioned you in the video? Wow. Clout. Internet points. Up dudes. Anyway, I, in particular, with this video, really want to thank my patrons who are still around. Thank you guys. You guys fucking rock. I'm not even gonna censor that one, because if YouTube demonetized the video because I said 2 fuck words with that one too, I still have to, but you guys supporting me with the Patreon. Thank you. An extra special thanks to my God tier patrons:
Shalom L, Rena J, DeAndre M, Ravishu, Cannoli Rose, Bim Wafty, Chase B, Revolver Oshawott, Marina at Mac.poetry, Aria and Calcifer, and Operator Metro.
And to my 20 buckaroos. Wow. What huge guys. What generous fellows and gals. Huge gals. Huge in the heart. You know.
Bonky Donor, Dark Duchess Nia, Steffi D, Snagowski, and Blarg.
If you're new here, or whatever, watch some more of my videos. Please. They're pretty good. You know, at least the back catalog. I got some bangers. What's your favorite video of mine? Tell me in the comments. Anyway, yeah, watch the video. If you'd like to donate on Patreon or with the little shameless, completely shameless QR codes I have here. I don't have any. I'll e-beg. I'm doing it. Doing it right now. Begging on the internet. Talking for longer so the QR codes stay on screen longer. Anyway, that'd be great. Watch more of my videos. Good to see you guys. It's been a minute. I love you, and I'll see you in the morning.